ಹ್ಞೂ ಓಕೆ. ನಿಮ್ಮ ಹೆಸರು? ದಯಾನಂದ್, ವಿಜಯಪುರ. ಓಕೆ ಓಕೆ. ಶ್ರೀಕಾಂತ್ ಸರ್ ಇವರೇನಾ? ಓಕೆ. ಏನು ಮಾಡಿದ್ದೀರಾ ನೀವು? ಆರ್ಟ್ಸ್. ಎಲ್ಲಿ? ವಿಜಯಪುರದಲ್ಲಿ. ಯಾಕೆ ಸಿವಿಲ್ ಸರ್ವಿಸಸ್ಸು? ಹಾಂ ಹಾಂ. ಇದಕ್ಕೇನಾದರೂ ವರ್ಕ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ದೀರಾ ಇದುವರೆಗೂ? ಇಲ್ಲ. ಹಾಂ. ಓಕೆ ಓಕೆ ಓಕೆ. ನಿಮ್ಮ ಹೆಸರು ಸರ್? ಪ್ರವೀಣ್. ರಿಮೋಟ್ ಫೈನಲ್ ಇಯರ್ ಬಿಇನಾ? ಎಲ್ಲಿ? ಎಸ್ ಕೆ? ಓಕೆ. ಎಲ್ಲಿದೆ ಅದು? ಹಾಂ ಹಾಂ. ಸೊ ಈಗ 8th ಸೆಮ್ಮಲ್ಲಿ ಇದ್ದೀರಾ? 7th ಸೆಮ್ ಎಕ್ಸಾಮ್ಸ್ ಆಯ್ತಾ ಇಲ್ಲ? ಇನ್ನೂ ಆಗಿಲ್ಲ. ಹಾಂ ಹಾಂ. ಯಾಕೆ ಸಿವಿಲ್ ಸರ್ವಿಸಸ್ಸು? ಇಂಜಿನಿಯರಿಂಗಲ್ಲಿ ಇದ್ದೀರಾ, ಅದನ್ನು ವೈ ಸಿವಿಲ್ ಸರ್ವಿಸಸ್? ಹಾಂ ಓಕೆ. ಹಾಂ ಹಾಂ. ಸೇಮ್ ಕಾಲೇಜು. ಓಕೆ. ನೀವು ಯಾಕೆ ಮಾಡ್ಬೇಕು ಅನ್ಕೊಂತಿದ್ದೀರಾ? ಹ್ಞೂ. ಬಟ್ ಬೇರೆ ಕಡೆನೇ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಟಫೆಸ್ಟ್ ಇದು ಇರಬೇಕಾದ್ರೆ ದೆನ್ ವೈ ದಿಸ್ ಓನ್ಲಿ? ಟಫ್ ಇದೆ ಅಂತ ಒಂದು ಮಾತು ಹೇಳ್ತಿದ್ದೀರಾ, ದೆನ್ ಯಾಕೆ ಟಫ್ ಹಾದಿನೇ ಚೂಸ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಿದ್ದೀರಾ? ಓಕೆ. ಸೊ ಯಾಕೆ ಅದೇ UPSCನೇ ಯಾಕೆ? ನೀವು ಸಿವಿಲ್ಲಾ? ಯಾಕೆ ಕಾಂಟ್ರಾಕ್ಟರ್ ಆಗಬಾರ್ದು? ಇದಕ್ಕಿಂತ ಚೆನ್ನಾಗಿ ದುಡ್ಡು ಐತೆ ಅದರಲ್ಲಿ. ಸರ್ವಿಸ್ ಟೀಚಿಂಗಲ್ಲೂ ಇದೆ, ಪೊಲೀಸ್ ಡಿಪಾರ್ಟ್ಮೆಂಟಲ್ಲೂ ಇದೆ, ಅಥವಾ ಫಾರೆಸ್ಟ್ ಡಿಪಾರ್ಟ್ಮೆಂಟಲ್ಲೂ ಇದೆ. ಇನ್ ಎವ್ರಿ ಡಿಪಾರ್ಟ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಯು ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಚಾಯ್ಸ್ ಆಫ್ ಮೇಕಿಂಗ್ ಸರ್ವಿಸಸ್. ಬಟ್ ವೈ ಓನ್ಲಿ UPSC? ಇಲ್ಲ. So I always say this. Generally, if we look at the pattern or people who are participating in UPSC examination, they are majoritively related to middle class background. Now, suppose every year we find there are 10 lakh people who are writing this exam. Out of which, if you look at the statistics, majority of the section of the population will be middle class and lower middle class. ಅವರೇ ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ಇರ್ತಾರೆ. ಇದಿರಲಿ ಬಿಡಿ, ಈಗ ಪದೇ ಪದೇ ಇದೇ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಂಡಿರ್ತೀರಾ? ಒಂದು ರಿಮೋಟ್ ಕೊಡಿ ಸಾಕು. ಅವೆಲ್ಲ ಕ್ಲಾಸ್ ಸ್ಟಾರ್ಟ್ ಆಗೋಕ್ಕಿಂತ ಮುಂಚೆ ಮಾಡ್ಬೇಕು ಮದನ್. ಆಯ್ತು ಬಿಡಿ, ನಡೆಯುತ್ತೆ, ಏನಾಗಲ್ಲ. ಇದೆಲ್ಲ ಮುಂಚೆ ಮಾಡಿಸ್ಬೇಕು ಮ್ಯಾಮ್ ನೀವು. ಹಾಂ. ಸೊ ಇಫ್ ವಿ ಲುಕ್ ಎಟ್ ದಿ ಸ್ಟ್ಯಾಟಿಸ್ಟಿಕ್ಸ್ ಆರ್ ಡೆಮೋಗ್ರಫಿ ಆಫ್ ಸ್ಟೂಡೆಂಟ್ಸ್ ಹೂ ಆರ್ ಪಾರ್ಟಿಸಿಪೇಟಿಂಗ್, ನಾವು ಅದ್ರ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ಚರ್ಚೆ ಮಾಡಿದಾಗ we find majority of the people are from middle class or lower middle class background. Why do you think in India, if we talk about very particularly students writing UPSC, ಈ middle class ಮತ್ತು lower middle class background students ಜಾಸ್ತಿ or majoritively write this exam? Why? And why not high net worth individuals or high middle income ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಬರೋಂಥವ್ರು ಈ ಎಕ್ಸಾಮ್ನ ಬರೆಯಲ್ಲ? ಅಫ್ಸಾ, why do you think so? Even businessmen do a lot of hard work, because business will not run on its own. But still, you don't find that affinity among the children of politicians or businessmen or high net worth individuals writing UPSC or getting into UPSC as a career. Yake? Yes sir.
Because ಯಾಕಂದ್ರೆ ಈ ಮಿಡಲ್ ಕ್ಲಾಸ್ ಫ್ಯಾಮಿಲಿಯಿಂದ ಬಂದವ್ರಿಗೆ ಈ ಹೊರಗಿನ ಜನ ಅಂದರೆ ಈ ಹೈ ಇನ್ಕಮ್ ಪೀಪಲ್ ಅವ್ರು ಮಾಡಿರೋಂಥ ಅಂದರೆ ಅವ್ರಿಗೆ ಎಲ್ಲ ಫೆಸಿಲಿಟೀಸ್ ಇರ್ತವೆ. ಅವ್ರಿಗೆ ಏನು ಪೇನ್ ಅಂದರೂ ಕೂಡ ಗೊತ್ತಿರಲ್ಲ. ಈ ಸೊಸೈಟಿಯಲ್ಲಿ ಅವ್ರು ಯಾವುದನ್ನೂ ಅನುಭವಿಸಿರಲ್ಲ ಒಂದು. ಆಮೇಲೆ ಈ ಪೂವರ್ ಪೀಪಲ್ ಆದರೆ ಹೆಂಗಾದ್ರೂ ಮಾಡಿ ನಾವು ಮೇಲೆ ಬರಬೇಕು ಅನ್ನೋ ಒಂದು ಮೋಟಿವ್ ಇರುತ್ತೆ ಅವ್ರ ಹತ್ರ. ಸೊ ದಟ್ಸ್ ವೈ ಆಲ್ಮೋಸ್ಟ್ ಆಲ್ ಈ ಒಂದು ಮಿಡಲ್ ಇನ್ಕಮ್ ಪೀಪಲ್ ಹುಡುಗರೇ ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ಇದನ್ನು ಸೆಲೆಕ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡೋದು.
ಓಕೆ, ಸೊ ಶ್ವೇತಾ ಅವ್ರು ಹೇಳ್ದಂಗೆ, if you look at the societal parameters, the only option which is available for middle class or lower middle class in order to upgrade their social status, ನಾನು ಯಾವಾಗಲೂ ಹೇಳ್ತೀನಿ ಈ ಸಾಮಾಜಿಕ ಏಣಿ ಅಂತ ಕರಿತೀವಿ ಅದನ್ನು. ಸೊ ಇಫ್ ವಿ ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಟು ಅಪ್ಗ್ರೇಡ್ ಅವರ್ ಸೋಷಲ್ ಸ್ಟೇಟಸ್, then the only option what is in front of us is knowledge, and with respect to, I mean, using that knowledge you can write UPSC. If you are trying to any other option, like if you want to go to do business, then you should have some net investment plus support from your family. Majoritively of the middle class income in the Indian society, if you look at, business ಮಾಡ್ತೀನಿ ಅಂದರೆ, if you want to do business, nobody will trust you first, because ಅದು ನಮ್ದಲ್ಲ, ಅಥವಾ it is not meant for the people who are from our section of the society. So let us not try it. If we talk about any political career, then it is something like you should have a very strong backing, you should have very good money with you. That is where you can get into politics as a career. But ಇವತ್ತಿನ ಸಂದರ್ಭದಲ್ಲಿ, if you look at today's situation, common man is suffering from all the problems in the society. That might be social, where everyone is behind you that you should become something in life. ನಿಮ್ಮಪ್ಪ ಭಾಳ ಕಷ್ಟಪಟ್ಟಾನೆ, you should do something. Your family is suffering a lot, so you should do something. So socially you are being burdened, or socially you are being enforced, where you have to do something in order to get you recognized. And you have lot of economical expectations also, where you want to make yourself economically stronger. We look at something, we think ki we also should live like that. So socially ಮತ್ತೆ economically, if you talk socio-economic terms, middle class has only option of using or gaining knowledge in order to empower themselves in the society, because ಬೇರೆ ಆಪ್ಷನ್ನೇ ಇಲ್ಲ. If you go to any other field, there are lot of challenges in front of you, and you will be kicked out as soon as possible where you find yourself as weak. ಸೊ ಈ ಸೋಷಲ್ ಸ್ಟೇಟಸಲ್ಲಿ ಅಥವಾ ಈ ಸೋಷಲ್ ಲ್ಯಾಡರಲ್ಲಿ, ವಾಟ್ ಐ ಸೇ, ಸೋಷಲ್ ಏಣಿಯಲ್ಲಿ, ಸಾಮಾಜಿಕ ಏಣಿಯಲ್ಲಿ, if you have to improvise or if you have to gain your knowledge or gain your status, then UPSC, for that matter any competitive exam, is what I say is the option to develop yourself. And as Shweta was telling, all of us have encountered some or the other challenges in our life. ಈಗ ಸಪೋಸ್ ನೀವೆಲ್ಲ ಕಾಲೇಜಿಗೆ ಹೋಗ್ತಿರ್ತೀರ, always you have a fear of, whenever you go in bike or whenever you go with any of your friend, you might have encountered some of the police officials, or whenever you go to any taluk panchayat office or hospital, ಯಾವುದೇ ಒಂದು ಸಂದರ್ಭದಲ್ಲಿ ಹೋದಾಗ ಆಫೀಸರ್ಸ್ ದೇರ್ ಆರ್ ಸ್ಟಾಫ್ ದೇರ್ ವುಡ್ ನಾಟ್ ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಬೀನ್ ಕೋಆಪರೇಟಿವ್. ಸೊ ಸಾಮಾನ್ಯ ವ್ಯಕ್ತಿಗೆ ಎಲ್ಲ ಹಂತಗಳಲ್ಲೂ ಯೂಶಲಿ ವಿ ಫೈಂಡ್ ಚಾಲೆಂಜಸ್, ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ದಟ್ ಈಸ್ ವೇರ್ ವಿ ಸಿ ಅದರ್ಸ್ ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ಗೆಟ್ ಇನ್ಫ್ಲೂಯೆನ್ಸ್ಡ್. ವಿ ಸಿ ಸಮ್ವನ್ in our real life, that might be any of the police officer or IAS officer, ನೋಡ್ತೀವಿ, we feel like okay, I should also become something like them. ಅಥವಾ we see some of the movies or from our family members, sometimes we get influenced by them to do this. See, one thing you should remember, number one is, when you have thought of becoming civil servant, one is your aspiration. See, aspiration is something every day you think of when you get up in the morning. You get up, you watch newspaper, you read newspaper, you watch news. There is something good. ಈ ಕೆಲವೊಬ್ರು ಮೋದಿ ನೋಡಿ ನಾನು ಮೋದಿ ಥರ ಐಡೆಂಟಿಫೈ ಆಗಬೇಕು, ಅಥವಾ ಐ ಶುಡ್ ಆಲ್ಸೋ ಲಿವ್ ಅ ಲೈಫ್ ಆಫ್ ಮೋದಿ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿ ವಿ ಆಸ್ಪೈರ್. ಯು ಮೈಟ್ ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಸೀನ್ ಸಂಬಡಿ ಇನ್ ಯುವರ್ ಲೈಫ್ ಹೂ ಈಸ್ ಇನ್ ಟು ಸಿವಿಲ್ ಸರ್ವಿಸಸ್. ಸೊ ಅವ್ರ ಥರ ನಾನು ಬದುಕಬೇಕು ಅನ್ನೋದು ಇಸ್ ಅನ್ ಆಸ್ಪಿರೇಷನ್. ಬಟ್ ಇಫ್ ದಿಸ್ ಆಸ್ಪಿರೇಷನ್ ಹ್ಯಾಸ್ ಟು ಬಿ made into reality, then your goal has to be very strong. Many of the people stand here, ಇಲ್ಲಿ ನಿಂತು ಬಿಡ್ತಾರೆ. I always say this, whenever you aspire for something, there will be three very difficult challenges which you will encounter. Number one is social, samajika. Suppose you are here, you want to do UPSC, you might have told this to someone. Balashtu sari people around you will not accept. ಈಗ ಅವ್ರು ಹೇಳ್ದಂಗೆ UPSC ಈಸ್ ಒನ್ ಆಫ್ ದಿ ಟಫೆಸ್ಟ್ ಎಕ್ಸಾಮ್. ಅದೆಲ್ಲ ನಮಗೋಸ್ಕರ ಅಲ್ಲ. ಸೊ ನಮಗೆ ಎಷ್ಟಾಗುತ್ತೋ ಅಷ್ಟೇ ಮಾಡೋಣ ಜೀವನದಲ್ಲಿ. ಲೆಟ್ ಅಸ್ ಡೂ ಸಮಥಿಂಗ್ ವಿಚ್ ವಿ ಕ್ಯಾನ್ ಡೂ. ಸೊ ಯು ಬೆಟರ್ ಟ್ರೈ ಫಾರ್ ಸಮ್ ಕಾನ್ಸ್ಟೇಬಲ್ ಆರ್ PSI ಆರ್ ಎನಿ ಅದರ್ ಗ್ರೂಪ್ C ಜಾಬ್ಸ್, FD ಆಗಿರ್ಬೋದು, SD ಆಗಿರ್ಬೋದು. ಸೊ ಇಫ್ ಯು ಟ್ರಾವೆಲ್ ನಾರ್ದರ್ನ್ ಪಾರ್ಟ್ ಆಫ್ ಕರ್ನಾಟಕ, ಮೆಜಾರಿಟಿವ್ಲಿ ಯು ವಿಲ್ ಫೈಂಡ್ people are more happy for becoming constable. Even trying for PSI is also one of the challenging task of their life. So socially you should get support. Number 2, economically. Suppose traveling to Bangalore or coming to La Excellence, or for that matter taking up UPSC, will definitely incur you some X amount of money. And that X amount of money we would not have spent in our entire graduation, which will be spent in 1 year if you are coming to the civil services. Suppose fees ಒಂದು X amount ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತಿದ್ದಾರೆ, ಅದು ನಿಮ್ಮ 2 ವರ್ಷದ ಕಾಲೇಜ್ ಫೀಸ್ಗಿಂತ ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ಇರುತ್ತೆ. ಸೊ ಆಬ್ವಿಯಸ್ಲಿ ಎಕನಾಮಿಕಲಿ ಅಗೇನ್ ಯು ವಿಲ್ ಬಿ ಅಂಡರ್ ಒನ್ ಆಫ್ ದಿ ಚಾಲೆಂಜಸ್. ಇವೆರಡೂ ಸಹ ನಿಮಗೆ ಸಪೋರ್ಟಿಗೆ ಬಂದಂತಹ ಸಂದರ್ಭದಲ್ಲಿ, ಇಫ್ ಆಲ್ ದೀಸ್ 2 ಪ್ಯಾರಾಮೀಟರ್ಸು ನಿಮಗೆ ಸಪೋರ್ಟಿಗೆ ಬಂದಾಗ, ಥರ್ಡ್ ಥಿಂಗ್ ಈಸ್ ಕನ್ಸಿಸ್ಟೆನ್ಸಿ. And when we talk about consistency, where majority of the students fail is when we ask them a question, why do you want to really come into civil services or UPSC as a career? There is one very good book, if you can read in future or today or tomorrow also you can read. It's not that future agbeku anta. So there is one very good book called Start with Why. One very basic concept when you read this book is there are 3 golden concepts which are being tried to make you understand. So the inner circle, your innermost circle will consist of a question called why. Then you have something called how. Then we go with what. When I speak with many of the students, everyone will have a ಆನ್ಸರ್. ಬಿಕಾಸ್ ಸಣ್ಣವರಿಂದ ನಮಗೆ ಅದೇ ಕೇಳ್ತಿದ್ದಾರೆ, ಜೀವನದಲ್ಲಿ ಏನು ಮಾಡ್ತೀಯಾ, ವಾಟ್ ಯು ವಿಲ್ ಬಿಕಮ್ ವೆನ್ ಯು ಗ್ರೋ ಅಪ್. ಸಂಬಡಿ ವಿಲ್ ಸೇ ಡ್ರೈವರ್, ಸಂಬಡಿ ವಿಲ್ ಸೇ ಪೊಲೀಸ್, ಸಂಬಡಿ ವಿಲ್ ಸೇ ಆರ್ಮಿ. ಸೊ ಎವ್ರಿ ಚೈಲ್ಡ್ ಆಫ್ ದಿಸ್ ನೇಷನ್ ನೋಟ್ಸ್ ವಾಟ್ ಹಿ ವಾಂಟ್ಸ್ ಟು ಡೂ. ಬಿಕಾಸ್ ಚಿಕ್ಕವರಿಂದ ನಮ್ಗೆ ಎಲ್ಲರೂ ಕೇಳ್ತಾ ಬಂದಿದ್ದಾರೆ ಅದನ್ನು. ಸಂಬಡಿ, ಎನಿ ರಿಲೇಟಿವ್ ಕಮಿಂಗ್ ಟು ಯುವರ್ ಹೋಮ್ ವಿಲ್ ಆಲ್ಸೋ ಆಸ್ಕ್, ಓಕೆ ಇಂಜಿನಿಯರಿಂಗ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಿದ್ಯಾ, ಮುಂದೇನು ಮಾಡ್ತೀಯಾ. ದೆನ್ ವಿ ವಿಲ್ ಸೇ ಸಮಥಿಂಗ್ ಎಕ್ಸ್. ಅದಾದ ಮೇಲೆ ವಿಲ್ ಸ್ಟಾರ್ಟ್ ಥಿಂಕಿಂಗ್ ಕಿ ಹೌ ವಿ ಶುಡ್ ಡು. ಸಪೋಸ್ ಯು ವಾಂಟ್ ಟು ಬಿಕಮ್ ಸಿವಿಲ್ ಸರ್ವೆಂಟ್ಸ್, ಪೀಪಲ್ ಹೂ ಆರ್ ಆನ್ಲೈನ್ ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ಆಫ್ಲೈನ್ ಬೋತ್, ಯು ಥಾಟ್ ಆಫ್ ಡೂಯಿಂಗ್ ಸಿವಿಲ್ ಸರ್ವಿಸಸ್. ಸೊ ಯು ಟ್ರೈಡ್ ಸಮಥಿಂಗ್ ಟು ಬಿ ಫೌಂಡ್ ಕಿ ಹೂ ಕ್ಯಾನ್ ಹೆಲ್ಪ್ ಮಿ ಔಟ್ ಟು ಪ್ರಿಪೇರ್ ಫಾರ್ ದಿಸ್ ಎಕ್ಸಾಮ್. ಸೊ ಯು ಗಾಟ್ ಲಾ ಎಕ್ಸಲೆನ್ಸ್ ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ಯು ಆರ್ ಹಿಯರ್. ಸೊ ದಟ್ ಈಸ್ ಹೌ ಯು ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಥಾಟ್ ಕಿ ಓಕೆ I should research something about this so that I can prepare for this exam. That is where how question you have tried to find an answer. But where we have failed is we did not find the answer for why at all. Getting influenced, looking at someone and getting influenced, because many a times I travel to Chitradurga. So usually the DC office of Chittur ಇದಕ್ಕೆ ಇದನ್ನ ಇರಬಾರ್ದು ಅಂತ ಹೇಳೋದು ಮ್ಯಾಮ್. ಸೊ usually when we travel, ಅಥವಾ when I travel to Chitradurga, I usually find that the residence of deputy commissioner is some 10 acres land. So usually ಅದು ಸಿಟಿ ಸೆಂಟ್ರಲ್ಲಿ ಕಟ್ಟಿರೋದ್ರಿಂದ, since it is built in the city center, many of the people get a chance or get an option of going through it. ಸೊ ನೋಡಿದಾಗೆಲ್ಲ ಎಲ್ಲರಿಗೂ ಅನಿಸುತ್ತೆ, ಹಾಪ ಇಷ್ಟು ದೊಡ್ಡ ಮನೆ ಇದೆ, ಇದು ಇಷ್ಟೆಲ್ಲ ಕೆಲಸ ಮಾಡ್ತಿದ್ದಾರೆ, ಸೊ ನಾನು DC ಆಗಬೇಕು. ಸೊ ದಟ್ ಈಸ್ ಅನ್ ಆಸ್ಪಿರೇಷನ್ ವಿಚ್ ಯು ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಬಿಲ್ಟ್. ದೆನ್ ಯು ಥಾಟ್ ಆಫ್ ಇಟ್, ದೆನ್ ಯು ಗಾಟ್ ಟು ನೋ ಕಿ ಓಕೆ UPSC ಅನ್ನೋದು ಒಂದು ಎಕ್ಸಾಮ್ ಇದೆ, ದೆರ್ ಇಸ್ ಅನ್ ಎಕ್ಸಾಮ್ ಕಾಲ್ಡ್ UPSC. ಬಟ್ ವೈ is the something question which we usually fail to find an answer. So what I request in every one of you is to first find an answer that why you want to really do this exam. And if why answer could be found out, then irrespective of your social challenges and economical challenges, you will find a way to make this examination happen. ಸೊ ಮೆನಿ ಆಫ್ ಅಸ್ ಯೂಶಲಿ ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಅನ್ ಇನ್ಹರೆಂಟ್ ಚಾಲೆಂಜಸ್ ಕಿ ನಾನು ಕನ್ನಡ ಮೀಡಿಯಮಿಂದ ಬಂದಿದ್ದೀನಿ ಅಥವಾ ಐ ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಕಮ್ ಫ್ರಮ್ ರೂರಲ್ ಬ್ಯಾಕ್ಗ್ರೌಂಡ್, ನಾನು ಮಾಡೋಕ್ಕಾಗುತ್ತಾ ಇಲ್ಲ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿ. ಸೊ ಫಾರ್ ದಟ್ ಐ ವೆರಿ ರೀಸೆಂಟ್ಲಿ ಮೆಟ್ ಒನ್ ಆಫ್ ದಿ interview going student of this year called Gori, Mohammad Gori, no sir, his name is Mohammad Gori. Avaru Belgaon. So when I was talking to him, when he came for one-on-one interaction, interview ಹೋಗೋಕ್ಕಿಂತ ಮುಂಚೆ, ಸೊ ಬಂದಂಥ ಸಂದರ್ಭದಲ್ಲಿ ಐ ವಾಸ್ ಗೋಯಿಂಗ್ ಥ್ರೂ ಹಿಸ್ ಡ್ಯಾಫ್. ಯೂಶಲಿ ಎಲ್ಲ ಇಂಟರ್ವ್ಯೂಗೆ ಹೋಗೋಂಥ ಸ್ಟೂಡೆಂಟ್ಸು ಒಂದು ಡೀಟೇಲ್ಡ್ ಅಪ್ಲಿಕೇಶನ್ ಫಾರ್ಮ್ ಅಂತ ಫಿಲ್ ಮಾಡಿರ್ತಾರೆ. So in this detailed application form, all your basic and interest, leadership qualities, everything will be provided. So when I was going through, there was one of the column called hobby. So hobby ali he has written cooking Punjabi food ant heli. So he likes cooking Punjabi food. So that is where I was little bit confused. Ki being from southern part of India, that too from Belgaon, how come an individual develop interest in Punjabi food? Because yaradru relatives irbeku, illa andre yaradru tinsirbeku. So when I asked him, he told Mohammad Gori did not had any intention of writing UPSC at all. So he wanted to somehow get into some government job, because in his family, if you look at, his father is a his father is a driver. He works and he drives a lorry in one of the transport company. Then his elder brother is a welding, he works in a welding shop. So his entire family, nobody has read, I think. So he wanted to get himself knowledgeable and over a period of time make something for his family which is secured income. So ಯಾವುದೋ ಒಂದು ಗೌರ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಜಾಬ್ ತಗೊಂಡ್ರೆ ಒಂದು ಸೆಕ್ಯೂರ್ಡ್ ಇನ್ಕಮ್ ಸಿಗುತ್ತೆ ಅನ್ನೋದು. So in 2020, when there was COVID and there was no other job or notification or any other opportunities to get into any employment section, then he thought, okay, let me help my father. So he used to travel with his father in lorry. Or ತಂದೆ ಜೊತೆ ಲಾರಿಯಲ್ಲಿ ಹೋಗ್ತಾ ಇದ್ರು as a helper ಆಗಿ. And he used to parallelly read for one of group C ಅಥವಾ ಯಾವುದೋ ಒಂದು ಎಕ್ಸಾಮಿಗೆ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಳ್ಳೋಣ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿ. ಸೊ ಒಳ್ಳೆ ಹೈಟ್ ಗಿಟ್ಟಿದ್ದಾರೆ, ಸೊ ಪೊಲೀಸು ಆಗ್ಬೋದಿತ್ತು ಅವರು. Then over a period of time, when he was traveling, he encountered many of the, usually ಲಾರಿ ಮತ್ತು ಟ್ರಾನ್ಸ್ಪೋರ್ಟ್ ಡಿಪಾರ್ಟ್ಮೆಂಟಲ್ಲಿ ನಾವು ನೋಡ್ತೀವಿ ಆರ್ ಟಿ ಒದವ್ರದ್ದು ಮೇಜರ್ ಚಾಲೆಂಜಸ್ ಇರುತ್ತೆ. ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ದ ಲೈಫ್ ಆಫ್ ಲಾರಿ ಪೀಪಲ್ ಆಲ್ಸೋ ಈಸ್ ವೆರಿ ಡಿಫಿಕಲ್ಟ್. ಒನ್ಸ್ ದೇ ಗೋ ಆನ್ ಎನಿ ಆಫ್ ದಿ trip, they usually don't come for 1 month, 15 days, something like this. So understanding his father's life and knowing around the challenges, what they are suffering, then over a period of time, he felt, okay, let me also give my attempt for UPSC, because ಬೇರೆ ಯಾವುದೂ ಆಪ್ಷನ್ಸ್ ಇಲ್ಲ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿ. ಬಿಕಾಸ್ ಯಾವಾಗಲೂ UPSC has followed a very particular calendar year of the particular year when they give it. So they predefine when will be the prelims, when will be the mains, and when usually will be the interviews. So he felt, okay, UPSC ಇದೆ ಎದುರಿಗೆ, let me give a try so that at least I can be active. So that is how in 2020, while traveling with his father in a lorry, he got an interest by observing the things around to write UPSC. And in majorly around 3 attempts maybe. This is 2024. So this was his first mains and first interview in last 2 years of preparation what he has done. So there are 2 things. Number 1, he is very keen and passionate about things what is there around him. ಕಿ ಅವನ ಜೀವನದಲ್ಲಿ ಆಗ್ತಿರೋಂಥ ವಿಷಯಗಳು ಏನು ನಡೀತಾ ಇದೆ ಅನ್ನೋಂಥದ್ದು. ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ಅದರ ಆಧಾರದ ಮೇಲೆ, ಅದರ ಬೇಸಿಸ್ ಮೇಲೆ ಹೌ ಹಿ ಕ್ಯಾನ್ ಡೆವಲಪ್ ಹಿಮ್ಸೆಲ್ಫ್ ಇಸ್ ದ ಸೆಕೆಂಡ್ ಕ್ವೆಶನ್ ವಿಚ್ ಹಿ ಹ್ಯಾಸ್ ಥಾಟ್ ಆಫ್. ಸೊ ದೇರ್ ವಾಸ್ ನಾಟ್ ಈವನ್ ಅ ಸಿಂಗಲ್ ಡೌಟ್ ಇನ್ ಹಿಮ್ಸೆಲ್ಫ್, even when we talk directly. Probably if he clears this year, you will all get an opportunity to talk to him, but he might clear definitely. So Gori in the ಕಲಿಬೇಕಾಗಿರೋದು, what we have to learn from the life of Gori is that he might have gone through all social challenges, economical challenges, but the determination to become something has not stopped him, so that he can develop his knowledge and get himself where he wanted. He is not super talented. He is not being supported or funded by some very good family. So what this examination really requires is, how strong is your passion in order to fight for the journey what you will be going through. So if we talk about journey, then UPSC pattern, if you look at, generally there are 3 stages of examination: prelims, mains and personality test or interview. Every year in the month of May or June, because this year it is in the month of May 26th ee varsha ide. So however, every year generally we find prelims is in the month of May or June, then mains will be somewhere in the month of September or October, and interview will start somewhere from January and it will finish before prelims examination. Let us keep it as April. So now you are in 2024 January month. Yes or no? So you will be writing this examination in June 2025. Where your journey will end if you are clearing all the 3 stages, that is 2026 April. We say only UPSC, but we forgot the timeline. Because when you join, after joining, if you think, okay, I should have known this before, is something many, at least 1/3 of the students, I'll tell about it. But remember that it is at least till 2026 April will be your first attempt which you will be giving. And there are 2 very important challenges here also. That is time, and another is again you are something related to passion or this thing. So if you are trying, because few of you are again in colleges, as Afsa is in college, you are in final year. So final year you can write this examination, however, but Afsa you can write in final year. So the awareness among the students is making them to learn at the early stage, so that after graduation they don't have to spend minimum of 2 years to find where they want to reach. So that is where La Excellence started Gurukul program, where during college you can prepare for this examination. The details, however, my other team will help you. But remember, the timeline is something which is very important. And when you look at the timeline, and if we talk about it, very general or particular example if we have to take. Few of you might have written or gone through PSI or not, I don't know. But Karnataka police usually conducts PSI recruitments. PSI recruitment ಗೆ ಹೋದಾಗ there is a condition that you have to run 1600 meters race in 7 minutes. So 7 ನಿಮಿಷದಲ್ಲಿ you have to cover 1600 meters race. So when you go for physical examination, there is 400 meter track which is given, and the officials over there will tell you, ಎಲ್ಲರನ್ನೂ ಒಂದು 50 ಜನನ ನಿಂದಿರಿಸ್ಕೊಂಡು ಹೇಳ್ತಾರೆ, ಇವ್ ನೋಡ್ರಪ್ಪ 400 ಮೀಟರ್ ಟ್ರ್ಯಾಕ್ ಐತಿ, ನೀವು 4 ರೌಂಡ್ ಓಡಬೇಕು ಇದನ್ನು, ಅದನ್ನು 7 ನಿಮಿಷದಲ್ಲಿ ಓಡಿದರೆ ನೀವು ಪಾಸ್, ಇಲ್ಲ ಅಂದರೆ ಫೇಲ್ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿ. ಸೊ ಫಸ್ಟಿಗೆ 50 ಜನ ಏನು ನಿಲ್ಲಿಸಿರ್ತಾರಲ್ಲ, 50 ಜನ ಓಡಕ್ಕೆ ಶುರು ಮಾಡಿದಾಗ ಮೊದಲನೇ ರೌಂಡಲ್ಲಿ ಈ 50ರಲ್ಲಿ 10 ಜನ ಬಿಟ್ಬಿಡ್ತಾರೆ. ಇಲ್ಲಿಗೆ ಅವ್ರಿಗೆ ಅನ್ಸುತ್ತೆ ಕಿ PSI ಕಿನ DYSP ಅಥವಾ SP ಆಗೋದು ಈಸಿ, ಬಿಕಾಸ್ ಬರೀ ಎಕ್ಸಾಮ್ ಬರೆಯೋದಿರುತ್ತೆ, ಓಡೋದಿರಲ್ಲ ಇದರಲ್ಲಿ. ಬಿಕಾಸ್ ಓಡೋದು ಇಸ್ ಸಮಥಿಂಗ್ ವಿಚ್ ವಿಲ್ ಟೇಕ್ ಯುವರ್ ವಿಲ್ ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ಸ್ಟ್ಯಾಮಿನಾ ಬೋತ್. ಸೊ ಇಟ್ಸ್ ಲೆಟ್ ಮಿ ಬೆಟರ್ ಫೈಂಡ್ ಅನ್ ಆಲ್ಟರ್ನೇಟಿವ್ ಫಾರ್ ದಿಸ್. ಸೊ DYSP ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ SP ಇದಕ್ಕಿಂತ ದೊಡ್ಡ ಪೋಸ್ಟ್ ಆಗಿರೋದ್ರಿಂದ ಲೆಟ್ ಮಿ ಟ್ರೈ ಫಾರ್ ದ್ಯಾಟ್, ಇದು ಬೇಡ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿ 10 ಜನ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಓಡೋಗ್ಬಿಡ್ತಾರೆ. ಸೆಕೆಂಡ್ ರೌಂಡಲ್ಲಿ ಬಂದಾಗ there will be another 20 people who will go out of this. They will think ki ಬದುಕಿದ್ರೆ ಸಾಕಪ್ಪ, ಎಕ್ಸಾಮ್ ಏನು ಯಾವ್ದಾರ ಪಾಸ್ ಮಾಡ್ಕೋಬಹುದು, ಲೆಟ್ ಮಿ ಲಿವ್ ಫಸ್ಟ್, ಲೇಟರ್ ಆನ್ ಐ ಕ್ಯಾನ್ ರೈಟ್ ಎನಿ ಆಫ್ ದಿ ಕಾಂಪಿಟೇಟಿವ್ ಎಕ್ಸಾಮ್ಸ್. ಬಿಕಾಸ್ ಈ ಓಡ್ತಾ ಇರೋ ಒಂದು ವೇಗ ನೋಡಿದ್ರೆ ಸತ್ರು ಸತ್ಯ ಅನ್ನೋ ಒಂದು ಭಯ ಬಂದ್ಬಿಡುತ್ತೆ. ಕೊನೆಗೆ ಉಳಿದಂತಹ 30 ಜನದಲ್ಲಿ ಅಥವಾ 20 ಜನದಲ್ಲಿ ಥರ್ಡ್ ರೌಂಡಿಗೆ ಬಂದಾಗ ಅದರ್ 10 people will go out, because they did not have practice, or they could not have that stamina for themselves to sustain for the third round. But this last 10 people who will clear third round will definitely make through fourth round. However, one or two might go out, but majoritively, most of the 10 students will make the fourth round. And this is the case for any individual who has practiced for even 1 month, 2 months or 3 months. ಇಲ್ಲ ಸರ್ ಅವ್ರು ಪ್ರಾಕ್ಟೀಸ್ ಮಾಡಿಲ್ಲ ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಮಧ್ಯದಲ್ಲಿ ಹಾರೋಗಿದ್ದಾರೆ, ಪ್ರಾಕ್ಟೀಸ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರೆ ಅದೇನು ಕಷ್ಟ ಅಲ್ಲ. ನೀವು ಎಷ್ಟೇ ಪ್ರಾಕ್ಟೀಸ್ ಮಾಡಿ, ಯುವರ್ ಮೈಂಡ್ ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ಯುವರ್ ಸ್ಟ್ಯಾಮಿನಾ ಆನ್ ದಟ್ ಡೇ ಹ್ಯಾಸ್ ಟು ಹೆಲ್ಪ್ ಯು. ಅದೇ ರೀತಿಯಲ್ಲಿ ಈ 1600 ಮೀಟರ್ ರೇಸ್ ಏನಿದೆಯಲ್ಲ, ದಿಸ್ ಈಸ್ ಆಲ್ಸೋ ಎ ರೇಸ್ ಆರ್ ಟೈಮ್ ಲೈನ್ ವಿಚ್ ಯು ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಟು ಗೋ ಥ್ರೂ. ಹಿಯರ್ ಎಲ್ಲರೂ ಹುರುಪಲ್ಲಿ ಇರ್ತೀವಿ. ಈಗ ಸಪೋಸ್ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ನಾವು 10 ಲಕ್ಷ ಜನ ಇದ್ದೀವಿ. Every one of us are motivated enough ki okay, I will make this happen at any cost, ಏನಾದರೂ ಆಗಲಿ. But when the time starts coming down, at every step you will start doubting yourself. ಕೆಲವೊಬ್ರು ಅನ್ಕೊಂತಾರೆ, my father has some 25 acres of land which is well irrigated, ಸೊ ಮಂತ್ಲಿ ನಾವು ಅಥವಾ ವರ್ಷಕ್ಕೆ ನಾವು 30-40 ಲಕ್ಷ ಇನ್ಕಮ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೀವಿ, ಇಷ್ಟು ಜೀವನದಲ್ಲಿ ಕಷ್ಟಪಡೋ ಅವಶ್ಯಕತೆ ಇಲ್ಲ, ಲೆಟ್ ಮಿ ಗೋ ಔಟ್. Some of you might think there are some other better alternative options. ಬಿಕಾಸ್ FDA ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ಪೋಸ್ಟ್ ಬರುತ್ತೆ, SDA ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ಪೋಸ್ಟ್ ಬರುತ್ತೆ. ಬಿಕಾಸ್ ಪೋಸ್ಟ್ಗಳು ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ಇದ್ದಂಗೆ ಪಾಸ್ ಆಗೋ ಚಾನ್ಸಸ್ಸು ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ ಅನ್ನೋ ಒಂದು ಅನಿಸಿಕೆ. ಅಥವಾ ಎವ್ರಿ ಇಯರ್ ಅಟ್ಲೀಸ್ಟ್ ಮುಂಚೆ ಪ್ರತಿ ವರ್ಷ 2 ಸರಿ PSI ನೋಟಿಫಿಕೇಶನ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಿದ್ರು. ಸೊ ಮೆಜಾರಿಟಿ ಆಫ್ ದಿ CSE ಸ್ಟೂಡೆಂಟ್ಸ್, ದಟ್ ಈಸ್ UPSC ಸ್ಟೂಡೆಂಟ್ಸ್, ವಿಲ್ ಗೋ ದಿಸ್ ವೇ. ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ಇಫ್ ದಿಸ್ ಹ್ಯಾಪನ್ಸ್ somewhere here in between, see, there is no problem if you write any other examinations. You ACF bariri, RFO bariri, for the graduation which you are eligible, you can write any exam. But if you miss out somewhere in between, then automatically one thing is your CSE journey is gone. Number 2, the knowledge what you are trying to acquire at the end is also gone. You have spent some money to develop yourself for this with respect to knowledge and with respect to personality. But ಎಲ್ಲೋ ಒಂದು ಕಡೆ ಮಧ್ಯದಲ್ಲಿ, somewhere if you give up, nor you will be a better UPSC aspirant, nor you will be a better any other examination aspirant, because every exam has a requirement and every exam requires the personality or the approach what has to be followed upon. ಸೊ ಅರ್ಧ ಇಲ್ಲಿ UPSC ಅಪ್ರೋಚ್ ಫಾಲೋ ಮಾಡಿರ್ತೀರಾ, ಇನ್ನು ಅರ್ಧ ಡೈರೆಕ್ಟಾಗಿ ಹೋಗ್ಬಿಟ್ಟು ನಾನು PSI ಆಗ್ತೀನಿ ಅಥವಾ FDA ಆಗ್ತೀನಿ ಅಂತ ಕುತ್ಕೊಂಡಾಗ, usually you will spend at least next 5 to 6 years of your life in Chandra layout. So what I request is, number 1, find the answer for why you have to be in civil services, and that answer should be so strong that whether you live or you become weak at any point of time, that answer should make you get up and fight for the examination on regular basis. So what I request is, this next 1.5 years, if you are solely ready to dedicate yourself with respect to preparation of civil services, then only take up this exam. Athwa then only join any of the place for preparation or developing your knowledge with respect to this exam. Illa andre you are wasting your time and you are wasting your father's money, father or mother, anyone's money. If you want, because after some time, people who are in final year, few of your friends might go and join any of the companies or any of the office in Bangalore. So or weekends ಗೆ ಮಡಿಕೇರಿ ಟ್ರಿಪ್ ಅಥವಾ ಚಿಕ್ಕಮಗಳೂರಿಗೆ ಹೋದಾಗ they put ಯಾವ್ದು ಮ್ಯಾಮ್, Snapchat or Instagram. So then you might feel, ನಾನೇನು ಮಾಡ್ತಿದ್ದೀನಿ ಚಂದ್ರ ಲೇಔಟಲ್ಲಿ, ಇಲ್ಲೆಲ್ಲ ಬರೀ ಲೈಬ್ರರಿ ಸುತ್ತ ಓಡಾಡ್ತವ್ರೆ ಜನ. So yes, these are the challenges which we usually come across. But on that day, you should remember an answer for yourself. I will have my own time, or I will get my time where I can enjoy or follow the luxuries whichever I wanted to follow. So that's where I request, before getting into any other syllabus related details, first find yourself why you really want to do this exam. Because your father might have told you or somebody might have influenced you to come and sit here. But taking something ಇಲ್ಲಿಂದ ಏನು ತಗೊಂಡು ಹೋಗಬೇಕು ಇಲ್ಲಿಂದ ಏನು ತಗೊಂಡು ಹೋಗಬಾರ್ದು ಇಸ್ your personal effort. ಸುಮ್ಮನೆ ಬಂದೆ ಹೋದೆ ಅಂತಂದಾಗ it is not something time and money which is also getting wasted, it is also your life which is getting wasted. ಸೊ ನಿಮ್ಮ ಜೀವನದ ಅಮೂಲ್ಯ 2.5 ವರ್ಷನ ಯಾವ ಕಾರಣಕ್ಕೂ ವೇಸ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಡಿ. That is one part of the story. Now since we know that there are 3 stages, then we look at the pattern of examination. When you come to prelims, we have paper 1 which is general studies, then we have paper 2 which is called civil service aptitude test, CSAT. So this CSAT, if we talk about, there are 80 questions which are given and each question is of 2.5 marks. So out of 200 marks, CSAT is a qualifying paper. So ಈ qualifying paper ಅಲ್ಲಿ you have to score 33% of the marks. So it is expected that if a student is scoring more than 66, that is somehow 67 ಅಂತ ಇಟ್ಕೊಳ್ಳೋಣ. So if he is scoring 67, he will be qualified in CSAT or CSAT paper. And if he is qualifying, then only whatever marks he will get from GS, where GS is of 100 questions, each question is of 2 marks. So out of 200 marks, whatever marks you score, if it is more than the cutoff given by UPSC, so there is no fixed marks. However, UPSC will come up with cutoff every year and it is expected that more than 50% of the marks is sufficient enough to clear prelims. So if you are scoring more than 100, then it is believed that a student is having good or fair chances of getting into or getting an opportunity to write mains. Understood? Any doubt in this stage? No. So when you come to mains, it's a descriptive type of examination where you have to write 9 papers. In these 9 papers, there are 2 qualifying papers, one of Kannada, which is our regional language, so a student from any other state can take any other language also, and another paper will be English. Then there will be one essay, then we have general studies 1, GS 2, GS 3, then GS 4. We'll talk in detail about what are the components of GS paper. However, then we have 6th and 7th paper as optional paper 1 and optional paper 2. When you look at the component of GS1, usually we have history, geography, then we have Indian society. GS2 ke bandaga we have governance. You will get syllabus copy, don't worry, but I'm just putting in front of you so that we can talk on this one. IR, so governance, constitution, IR and social justice. Then when you come to GS3, we have economy, disaster management, environment, internal security. Then last paper is in ethics. Understood? Then third part will come for this examination will be personality. So when you look at the pattern of this examination, because in prelims we have general studies where 50% of the marks you are scoring. Again we have 5 major subjects: history, geography, economy, polity, or environment and science and technology, along with newspaper. Then if you talk about mains, there are 3 general studies paper which are again talking about history, geography, Indian society, social justice, environment, constitution, everything. And we have one essay paper which is again related to either of these topics. Then we have one ethics, which is again a generalistic approach for the paper which is required, having an understanding about what is right and wrong with respect to the betterment of the society, because tomorrow when you become civil servant, you will work for the society. So your decisions should be based on some moral principles. Principles and usually we focus on GS4. Then we have one paper which is optional with respect to the UPSC, where you can make a choice of your own self. Usually people will go for either of anthropology, sociology, international or political science and international relations, or a Kannada literature if you are interested with respect to Kannada Sahitya. So any optional subject. And remember, optional subject is being told very clearly in the notification also, that the syllabus of optional will be above undergraduation and below post graduation. So here you need to have some expertise knowledge, for which how to choose an optional and how you can make a better choice of optionals we can discuss. But initially what you have to understand is, this examination is not something which is related to quadratic equation, averages or any other mathematical formulas. If you look at the entire syllabus and any of the previous year papers, you will understand that you are talking more about the society, where different sections of the societies are being addressed with respect to the challenges what they are facing. Suppose GS paper 1, we are talking about history, geography and Indian society. See, we learn, why do we learn Indian history? Yake, what is the necessity? Being a civil servant, or being a common, being an individual who is part of this country, history is something which will help you to develop an understanding about how this great nation has been formed by various individual personalities who have contributed to this. So that history will help you to develop few of the ideologies of the people who have been part of this great country. So itihasa annuvantadu athwa history annuvantadu, it is not to learn that in 1885 Indian National Congress was formed, then in 1905 there was split between Congress and moderates and extremists. It is not to learn about the facts which are there in the Indian history, what we have done in our academics. Usually that is what is being talked about. Namma ella academic education alli we are taught how to score first class with distinction if you are in engineering, and in our school days we are being taught how to score more than 90% if you are in college or school. But never ever we are made to understand what is the objective of any of the subject we are learning, and how that can be an input for you to be a better person for tomorrow. ಯಾವಾಗಲೂ ನಮ್ಮ ಉದ್ದೇಶ ಇರುವಂತದ್ದು, we read, we want to score, and this exam stands out there, because ಇಲ್ಲಿ ನಿಮಗೆ ಯಾವುದೇ ಸರ್ಟಿಫಿಕೇಟ್ ಸಿಗಲ್ಲ. You will not get any academic certificate where we will say you are a UPSC trained aspirant ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿ. This is purely a process or journey where you will be following for or fighting for every day gaining knowledge. Suppose on January 22nd there is very great debate which is going on, where Ayodhya temple is being inaugurated. Some section of the society say that thousands of crores is being spent on a temple which could have been spent on educational institutions or solving the problems of malnourishment or solving the problems of women in the society. So the question in front of the society is again whether the decision of the government to spend such a huge amount of money on developing temples in the country is necessary or not. So ee opinion anna heng form ಮಾಡ್ತೀರಾ? See, generally when you ask this question, ಕಟ್ಟೆ ಮೇಲೆ ಕುಂತಿರೋರು ಅವರಿಗೆ ಯಾವುದೋ ಪಕ್ಷದ ಕಡೆಗೆ ಅಭಿಮಾನ ಇದ್ದು ಅಥವಾ ವ್ಯಕ್ತಿ ಕಡೆಗೆ ಅಭಿಮಾನ ಇದ್ದು, they might have been influenced or they might have been interested in a person or a party or religion which will make the decision of the things what they will be telling. If suppose I am a Brahmin and I am very ardent follower of BJP irrespective of what they do, then I will every day put Ayodhya temple status ಅಥವಾ ರಾಮನವಮಿ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ಮಾತಾಡುವಂಥದ್ದು ಎಲ್ಲ ಮಾಡ್ತೀವಿ. If we see there are some other section of the society where they will talk something negative about it, or they will tell all these things, ಇದನ್ನ ದೇವಸ್ಥಾನದಲ್ಲಿ ನಾವು ಖರ್ಚು ಮಾಡಬೇಕಿತ್ತು, ಯೂನಿವರ್ಸಿಟೀಸಲ್ಲಿ ಖರ್ಚು ಮಾಡಬೇಕಿತ್ತು, ಅಥವಾ ಮಕ್ಕಳ ಸಮಸ್ಯೆಯನ್ನು ಸರಿಪಡಿಸೋದಕ್ಕೆ ಖರ್ಚು ಮಾಡಬೇಕಿತ್ತು. ಬಟ್ ಅಲ್ಟಿಮೇಟ್ಲಿ ದ ಡಿಫ್ರೆನ್ಸ್ ಬಿಟ್ವೀನ್ ಎ ಕಾಮನ್ ಮ್ಯಾನ್ ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ಅರಿಸ್ಟೋಕ್ರಾಟ್ ಈಸ್, ನಾನು ಯೂಶಲಿ ಸಿವಿಲ್ ಸರ್ವಿಸ್ ನಾಲೆಜ್ ಪಡೆದಿರೋಂಥವ್ರನ್ನು ಅರಿಸ್ಟೋಕ್ರಾಟ್ ಅಂತಾನೆ ಕರಿತೀನಿ, ಹೂ ಆರ್ ಒನ್ ಸ್ಟೆಪ್ ಅಬೌವ್ ದ ಕಾಮನ್ ಮ್ಯಾನ್, ವೇರ್ ದೇ ವಿಲ್ ನಾಟ್ ಟಾಕ್ ಸಮಥಿಂಗ್ ವಿಚ್ ಇಸ್ ಬೇಸ್ಡ್ ಆನ್ ರಿಲಿಜನ್ ಆರ್ ದೇರ್ ಕಾಸ್ಟ್, ಬಟ್ ದೇ ವಿಲ್ ಟಾಕ್ ಬೇಸ್ಡ್ ಆನ್ ದಿ ಫ್ಯೂಚರ್ ಆಫ್ ದಿ ಕಂಟ್ರಿ. It is good to develop temples in this country if that is going to be beneficial for the country over the long run. It is good not to develop or not to build temples also if that is going to benefit this country. Because this country is not run by only few sections of the society. There are few again videos and reels which are floating around in many of the social media channels. Why do you think India is one of the peaceful country in the last 75 years where we did not find any of the civil riots being happened or civil revolutions which could not happen? ಈ ದೇಶದಲ್ಲಿ ಇಷ್ಟೊಂದು ವಿಭಜನೆಗಳಿದ್ದಾವೆ. There are Muslims, there are SC, ST, there are OBC, there are Hindus or general. Still there is no any civil rights movement which has happened in this country. ಈಗ ಸಪೋಸ್ ನೀವು ಹಿಸ್ಟ್ರಿ ಓದಬೇಕಾದ್ರೆ ಅಮೇರಿಕನ್ ರೆವಲ್ಯೂಷನ್ ಅನ್ನೋ ಪದ ಕೇಳಿರ್ತೀರ, ಫ್ರೆಂಚ್ ರೆವಲ್ಯೂಷನ್ ಅಂತ ಕೇಳ್ತೀರ, ಜರ್ಮನ್ ರೆವಲ್ಯೂಷನ್ ಅಂತ ಕೇಳ್ತೀರ, ಬಟ್ ದೇರ್ ಇಸ್ ನೋ ಇಂಡಿಯನ್ ರೆವಲ್ಯೂಷನ್ ವಿಚ್ ಹ್ಯಾಸ್ ಹ್ಯಾಪನ್. ಡು ಯು ರೀಡ್ ಎನಿವೇರ್ ಇಂಡಿಯನ್ ರೆವಲ್ಯೂಷನ್? ಯಾಕೆ? ಬಿಕಾಸ್ ದಿಸ್ ಇಸ್ ಕಂಟ್ರಿ ಹ್ಯಾಸ್ ನಾಟ್ ಬೀನ್ ಬಿಲ್ಟ್ ಆನ್ ಫ್ಯೂ ಆಫ್ ದಿ ಐಡಿಯಾಲಜೀಸ್. ಉದಾಹರಣೆಗೆ, ವೆನ್ ಇಂಡಿಯಾ ಗಾಟ್ ಇಂಡಿಪೆಂಡೆಂಟ್, there was one constituent assembly which was formed. You will read in constitution. So when constitution assembly was formed and the major debate was going on, ಈ ದೇಶದಲ್ಲಿ ಯಾರು ಉಳ್ಕೋಬೇಕು, ಹಿಂದೂಸ್ ಉಳ್ಕೋಬೇಕಾ ಅಥವಾ ಮುಸ್ಲಿಮ್ಸ್ನು ಉಳಿಸ್ಕೋಬೇಕಾ ಅಥವಾ ಬೇರೆ ಜಾತಿ ಧರ್ಮದವ್ರನ್ನ ಇಡೋ ಅವಶ್ಯಕತೆ ಇದೆಯಾ ಅಥವಾ ಬರೀ ಹಿಂದೂ ರಾಷ್ಟ್ರವಾಗಿ ಬದಲಾಯಿಸಬೇಕಾ ಅಂತ. ಸೊ ವೆನ್ ಒನ್ ಆಫ್ ದಿ ಮೆಂಬರ್ ವಾಸ್ ಟೆಲ್ಲಿಂಗ್ ಕಿ, ಬಿಕಾಸ್ ಯಾವಾಗಲೂ ನಮಗೆ ಗೊತ್ತಿಲ್ಲದೆ ಇರೋರನ್ನ ಅಥವಾ ಹೊರಗಿನವ್ರನ್ನ ಮನೆಗೆ ಇಟ್ಕೊಳ್ಳೋದು ಡೇಂಜರ್ ಅಂತಾನೆ ಫೀಲ್ ಆಗ್ತೀವಿ. ಯಾರೋ ಹೊರಗಿನವ್ರನ್ನ ತಂದು ನಮ್ಮ ಮನೆಗೆ ಇಟ್ಕೊಂತೀವ? ಇಲ್ಲ. ಸೊ ದೇರ್ ವಾಸ್ ಅ ಫೀಲಿಂಗ್ ವಿತ್ ಇನ್ ಫ್ಯೂ ಆಫ್ ದಿ ಮೆಂಬರ್ಸ್ ವೇರ್ ದೇ ಹ್ಯಾಡ್ ಡೌಟ್ಸ್ ಕಿ ಇನ್ನೊಂದು ವರ್ಗದವ್ರನ್ನ ಈ ದೇಶದಲ್ಲಿ ಇಟ್ಟಾಗ ಅದು ನಮ್ಮ ದೇಶಕ್ಕೆ ಒಳ್ಳೇದಲ್ಲ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿ. ಅಟ್ ದಟ್ ಪಾಯಿಂಟ್ ಆಫ್ ಟೈಮ್ ಜವಾಹರ್ಲಾಲ್ ನೆಹರು, ದಿ ದೆನ್ ಪ್ರೈಮ್ ಮಿನಿಸ್ಟರ್, said the day trust dies, your enemies are born. So ಆ ಪ್ರಶ್ನೆಗೆ there was one word which was told by Nehru: the day trust dies, your enemies are born. So in this country, till the trust is among every section of the society, this country is going to flourish like this. And the day trust between different sections of the society falls down, automatically we will become enemies of each other and we will fight each other and we will kill each other. Since our forefathers or our great leaders were of the vision that if this society or this country is going to be inclusive, secular, where everyone will be given equal opportunity, then automatically this country will be one of the great nation compared to any other country in this world. And this applies to our everyday life also. Suppose you develop trust with me, ಅಥವಾ ನಿಮ್ಮಲ್ಲಿ ನಂಬಿಕೆ ಇದೆ, ಫಾರ್ ಎಕ್ಸಾಂಪಲ್ your parents or your friends have believed you are an intelligent person, if you read you will become something. So that is trust. That is where you have good relation with your family and your friends. After 1 year, when you don't clear this examination, that 10% of trust will go out. They will feel you are not reading because ನೀವು ಕಷ್ಟ ಪಡ್ತಿರಬಹುದು, ಬಟ್ ಅದನ್ನು ಯಾರು ನೋಡ್ತಿದ್ದಾರೆ? ಕ್ಯಾಮ್ರಾ ಅಂತೂ ಯಾರು ಇಟ್ಟಿಲ್ಲ. ಸೊ ಬೆಂಗಳೂರು ಭಾಳ ಕಲರ್ಫುಲ್ ಅಣ್ಣ, ನಾನು ಹೇಳಿದ್ದೆ ನಿನ್ನ ಮಗನಿಗೆ ಕಳಿಸ್ಬೇಡ ಅಥವಾ ಮಗಳಿಗೆ ಕಳಿಸ್ಬೇಡ, ನೀನು ಕೇಳಲಿಲ್ಲ ನನ್ನ ಮಾತು, ಈಗ ನೋಡಿ ಹಾಳಾಗಿದ್ದಾನೆ ಅಂತ. So the society will start losing trust on you, and you will be strong till this trust is going to be zero. ಯಾವತ್ತು ನಿಮ್ಮ ಮೇಲೆ ನಂಬಿಕೆ ಝೀರೋ ಆಗಿಬಿಡುತ್ತೋ, ಆಟೋಮೆಟಿಕಲಿ ಎವ್ರಿವನ್ ಅರೌಂಡ್ ಯು ವಿಲ್ ಸ್ಟಾರ್ಟ್ ಬಿಕಮಿಂಗ್ ಎನಿಮಿ ಆಫ್ ಯುವರ್ ಸೆಲ್ಫ್. And anything done in your life, you will feel there is negativity. So this trust is something which have to be maintained, and till this is alive, this society is going to be better. So because in a society, suppose I don't know how many of you read newspaper, but very recently there was one news. So you will read this in history and polity both. There was another news recently happened in Chikmagalur. There was one village called Gollarhatti. So Gollarhatti means where Golru antare. I don't know in English what you say, sir. Cow. They usually take care of cow. So there is one village called Gollarhatti. So there was some road construction work which was going on, and the JCB person who was operating the JCB belonged to Dalit community, that is SC or ST, I don't know, but he belonged to Dalit, SC only maybe. So while he was working on that road, there was a temple in the village which he wanted to visit. So when he was free, he went into the temple. And usually, since he is from other village or from any other part of the state, nobody knew which caste he belonged to. But after entering the temple, some people might have spoke to him. He was staying there because work was there. They got to know that he belonged to Dalit community. After getting to know that he belonged to Dalit community, entire village gathered. They had beaten that person, and they closed the temple, and they declared that the deity or the statue or the murti of the temple have to be purified, and it will be done in Kaladgiri. There is one falls called Kaladgiri Falls in, I think. So till the deity is going to be purified, the temple will be closed, and no other Dalit person will ever be allowed into the temple. So in this 21st century, that is in 2024, we are talking about Chandrayaan 3, we are talking about Aditya L1, where we are going to know about sun. We are talking about Gaganyaan, where human will be able to travel to space. But still, even today, this society could not find the real success or real progress is because of these divisions in the society. And very recently, after that incident, all the district administration officials, along with few Dalit community leaders, together went to the temple. They entered into the temple and did puja, and few people read preamble, where we say, we the people of India having solemnly resolved to constitute India into sovereign, social, democratic republic. So I always say this, why you have to really read civil services is whether you will become civil servant or not, but you will become a better person for the society for sure. See, this life and death are two inevitable events which will happen in your life. But the gap which is there in this between, whatever you do, you become civil contractor, you become forest official, you become police department, or you become a good farmer or whatever. But every section or element of the society has to contribute towards the betterment of the society. And that is possible only when you have knowledge. We have read till graduation, but still, even today, we don't know what is the preamble of the Constitution. We have, again, you are into graduation. We don't know exactly what are our fundamental rights. Then how, as a youth of this country, we are going to be the better part of the better tomorrow which we want to build for this country. So if you look at civil services pattern or examination, he is not trying to make you some very great individual where you have to be a historian, geography or economist like RBI governors, you make very big policy decisions. See, you are a medium between government and common people. And I always say this, being a medium between government and common people, you have to be the voice of the government for the people. You will become the medium between the government and the people. So you deal with common man, you understand the problems of common man, and you will work for the betterment of common man. Usually ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ, suppose there was difference in the intensity of rainfall what we had in this year. So ಮಳೆಯ ಪ್ರಮಾಣದಲ್ಲಿ there was variations. So many of the people will say ಕಾಂಗ್ರೆಸ್ ಸರ್ಕಾರ ಬಂದಿದೆ ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಮಳೆ ಕಮ್ಮಿ ಆಗಿದೆ, ಬಿಜೆಪಿ ಬಂದರೆ ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ಆಗೋದು ಅಂತ. ಸೊ ದಿಸ್ ಇಸ್ ಕಾಮನ್ ಮ್ಯಾನ್ ಹೂ ವಿಲ್ ಟಾಕ್ ಆನ್ ಹಿಸ್ ಓನ್. ಇಲ್ಲಣ್ಣ ಪ್ರತಿ ವರ್ಷ BJP ಬಂದಾಗ ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ ಮಳೆ, ಕಾಂಗ್ರೆಸ್ ಬಂದಿದೆ ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಕಮ್ಮಿ ಆಗಿದೆ ಈ ಸರಿ. ಸೊ ಬಿಕಾಸ್ ಅವನಿಗೆ ಗೊತ್ತಿಲ್ಲ ವಾಟ್ ಈಸ್ ಮಾನ್ಸೂನ್, ಹೌ ಮಾನ್ಸೂನ್ ವರ್ಕ್ಸ್, ಯಾಕೆ ಮಾನ್ಸೂನ್ ಪ್ರಮಾಣ ಅಥವಾ ಇಂಟೆನ್ಸಿಟಿ ಕಡಿಮೆ ಆಗಿದೆ ಗೊತ್ತಿಲ್ಲದಾಗ ಏನಾರ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಬೇಕಲ್ಲ. ಆ್ಯಕ್ಚುಲಿ ವೆನ್ ಯು ಟ್ರಾವೆಲ್ ಅಕ್ರಾಸ್ ಚಿಕ್ಕಮಂಗ್ಳೂರ್ ಯು ವಿಲ್ ಫೈಂಡ್ ದಟ್ ದೇರ್ ಆರ್ dolls which are being married so that they can get good rain. So it is a belief. There is nothing wrong in getting or having any belief unless and until it is not going to affect anyone in the society. Getting dolls as married is not wrong because it is not affecting anyone. But there is another system called Devadasi system. You will read in history again. If you travel across Hospete athwa ee bhagadalli Koppala ee bhagadakke hodaga, historically Devadasis were the woman who will be at the service of the god. ದೇವರ ಒಂದು ಆಶ್ರಯದಲ್ಲಿ ದೇವ್ರ ಸೇವೆ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಂಡು ಇರಬೇಕು ಅನ್ನುವಂಥದ್ದು ದೇವದಾಸಿಯವರ ಒಂದು ರಿಕ್ವೈರ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಇತ್ತು. ಅಂಡ್ ದಿಸ್ ದೇವದಾಸೀಸ್ ವಿಲ್ ಬಿ ಯೂಸ್ಡ್ ಬೈ elite men of the society. However, Devadasi is banned in India like untouchability or any other social evils which are against the values of society. But still, even today in Karnataka, there are more than, official estimated, there are more than 10,000 Devadasis who are still living in various conditions across Karnataka. Even after having biggest machinery of government, even after having highest technology which we talk about, or improved technology which we talk about, even after having more than 75% literacy, in a developed state like Karnataka, if there are Devadasis who are still being practiced, if there are Dalits who are being still cornered, then it is something which all of us has to be thought about and worked about. ಈಗ ಮನೆಯಲ್ಲಿ when you are in a home, if you are elder in a family, and there are suppose 2-3 children, the responsibility rise with the elder son or elder daughter because ಅವ್ರು ದೊಡ್ಡವರು ಇದ್ದಾರೆ ಅಂತ. ಅದೇ ರೀತಿಯಲ್ಲಿ in this society Hindu is a major community, so they are the elder son of the society or elder son of India. So being an elder son, it is the responsibility of the Hindu community to take care of other smaller communities in the society. And to understand the rationale behind what is good and right or what is good and bad, we have to have knowledge. And knowledge is the only weapon which you have got to make your voice to be heard across the country. ನಾಳೆ ಹೋಗಿ ನೀವು ವಿಧಾನಸೌಧ ಎದುರು ನಿಂತು ಮಾತಾಡೋಕ್ಕಾಗತ್ತಾ? ಫಸ್ಟ್ ಹೊಡೆದು ಎತ್ತಕೊಂಡು ಹೋಗ್ಬಿಡ್ತಾರೆ. But tomorrow if you become chief secretary of this country, then you can sit face to face with chief minister and tell him this is right and this is wrong. At least your voice will be heard in the corners of Vidhan Saudha. Or if you become principal secretary or if you become any other official, then you can make at least a small part of the change. It is not, we don't have to make marvels. We cannot make India something which is very superficial. See, change is always gradual. Sudden ಆಗಿ ಒಂದು ದಿವಸದಲ್ಲಿ IAS ಆಗ್ತೀನಿ ಬಿಕಾಸ್ ಅದೇ ಬೇಕಾಗಿರೋದು. ಈಗ ಮಕ್ಕಂತೀವಿ ಬೆಳಗ್ಗೆ ಎದ್ದು ಕೂಡ IPS ಆಗಬೇಕು ಸರ್ ಅಂತೀವಿ. We are living in a world where we are more impressed with reels and shorts. We are not impressed with 50 hours of match. 2020 is more interesting. ಅದನ್ನು ಮೆಲ್ಮೆಲ್ಲಕ್ಕೆ 10ಗೂ ತರ್ತೀವಿ ನಾವು. So we are more interested in instant results. As you rightly said, this exam is toughest exam and there is always good, or if it has to be something big, then it will be tough and it will be long. But do you really want to be one of it is something which you have to question. So you will understand the elements of this exam in this journey over a period of time. But what I request is you understand what you really want and spend your next 2.5 years in this journey. And if you are not clear about it, take another 6 months break. I don't mind. But don't waste your time just simply because even I want to try this exam. You enjoy. See, there is a routine in life. ಮಾರ್ನಿಂಗ್ ಯು ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಬ್ರೇಕ್ಫಾಸ್ಟ್, ಆಫ್ಟರ್ನೂನ್ ಯು ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಲಂಚ್, ನೈಟ್ ಯು ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಡಿನ್ನರ್. ಅದೇ ರೀತಿಯಲ್ಲಿ ಇನ್ ಯುವರ್ ಲೈಫ್ ಯು ಶುಡ್ ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಎ ರೊಟೀನ್. You have college, you spend some time with your friends. In a week you go out with parties, or in a week you go out for traveling. But there should be at least 2 to 3 hours of time which should be given for your future. And if you can follow that, I'm not telling you should read 16 hours a day, 20 hours of a day, you delete all your Instagram, Snapchat, Facebook, inyavadadru idre, you give up all your friends. No. You should know the priorities of your life. That if you are successful, then you will be some value to the society. Today we are zero. Nobody will care about us. Do you think if we become something, will anybody care, irrespective of our family or some friends? ಯಾರಾದರೂ ನಮ್ಮ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ಯೋಚನೆ ಮಾಡ್ತಾರಾ? ಇಲ್ಲ. But if your utility, I say that your utility is zero today. But if utility has to be increased from 0 to 0.5 to 1, then it will take effort. And effort in the direction of what you want to become. Don't worry about result. The day you worry about result, half of your failure is with you. Try to be a better person by acquiring knowledge on everyday basis. Read, understand your society better. And this examination is all about understanding your society. It is not telling you to read some mathematical formulas, because in my entire life till now I have not understood why I have read integration in engineering and school. And I have never used it again. But we were forced to read and get it out. But this is something which will talk about various issues. Like GS2 mein there is international relation. Now you already have some patriotism, and everyone is talking about India-Maldives relation, where some Maldives leaders have spoken something wrong about our leaders and Indian culture, and boycott Maldives is something which is going or running across the country. But what is it? Why do you think we need to boycott? Or why do you think this step is something important as of now? Or it is something which is going to affect India negatively over a period of time? People are running reels only because Modi baididane. Modi is a representative of this country, but at the end, what happens is whether it is good for the country or not. At least ಆ ತಿಳುವಳಿಕೆ ಬೇಕು. ಸುಮ್ಮನೆ ಮೋದಿಗೆ ಬೈದ್ರು ಅಂತ ಬೈಕಂತ ಓಡಾಡ್ತೀವಿ. So you don't be one among the people who are called as common man. At least you are graduates. You develop your personality, and that will happen only through knowledge. And for that, this exam is something which will definitely help. So this is what I would like to convey you all. If you have any questions, we'll discuss on that one. And other things with respect to exam and anything, if you have, we can talk it personally. Afsa? No, you don't have any questions. Nothing? Nothing as of now. Illa. The questions barbeku. See, whenever you go somewhere, that might be your class or to meet someone, have 100 questions. If you don't have question, then you have not done your research well. Make a research. Never expect something will happen from the sky. ಒಂದು ಕಿರಣ ಬರುತ್ತೆ ಅಷ್ಟು ಆಟೋಮೆಟಿಕಲಿ ತಲೆ ಮೇಲೆ ಬೀಳುತ್ತೆ, then I will become something superstar. ಈ ನನಗೆ ಧಾರಾವಾಹಿ ಮತ್ತು ಇದರಲ್ಲಿ ತೋರಿಸಿ ವಿ ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಬೀನ್ ಇನ್ಫ್ಲೂಯೆನ್ಸ್ಡ್ ಬೈ ದಟ್. ದೇವರು ಇಷ್ಟಪಟ್ಟರೆ ಅಥವಾ ದೇವ್ರು ರೈಟ್ ಹೂ ಕೊಟ್ಟರೆ ನಾನು IAS ಆಗ್ತೀನಿ, ಲೆಫ್ಟ್ ಹೂ ಕೊಟ್ಟರೆ ಆಗಲ್ಲ. ಸೊ ದಿಸ್, as I said, belief is good unless and until it does not affect you or affect anyone. So somewhere down the line, we might be following Bible as our holy book, or Quran as our holy book, or Bhagavad Gita or any other book as our holy book. It is our personal. But at the end, this country has one holy book called Constitution, for which we have to be very much loyal. Avaglene, this country is going to be peaceful, come progressive. ಬಿಕಾಸ್ GDP ಗ್ರೋತ್ ನೆಗೆಟಿವ್ ಆದರೂ ಪರವಾಗಿಲ್ಲ, ಬಟ್ ಲೆಟ್ ಅಸ್ ನಾಟ್ ಮೇಕ್ ಪೀಪಲ್ ನೆಗೆಟಿವ್ ಇನ್ ದಿಸ್ ಕಂಟ್ರಿ. ತುಂಬ ಇಶ್ಯೂಸ್ನ ನಾವು ಮಾತಾಡ್ತೀವಿ, ವೇರ್ ಬಿಕಾಸ್ ದೇರ್ ವಾಸ್ ಒನ್ ವೆರಿ ರೀಸೆಂಟ್ ಕೇಸ್, ಬಿಲ್ಕಿಸ್ ಬಾನು ಕೇಸ್ ನೋಡಿರ್ತೀರಾ. ಸೊ ಇಟ್ ವಾಸ್ ರಿಲೇಟೆಡ್ ಟು 2002 riots. So 2002 riots में there were some 11 people. At that time Bilkis Banu was pregnant, it seems, and she had some other children. So during the riot she along with her whole family was killed by few of the people, and they were arrested. However, they were given life sentence in 2008, but they were released on something called remission. So remission ಅನ್ನುವಂಥದ್ದು ಒಂದು ಕಾನ್ಸೆಪ್ಟ್ which you will read in polity under pardoning powers. So remission means reducing the severity of the sentence. So life sentence ಇಂದ ಅವ್ರು 14 ವರ್ಷ, since they have served 14 years of jail term, they are released on that lines. So they have reduced the terms. So against which Bilkis Banu case was again put up for the people who were left out in the Supreme Court, and Supreme Court said rule of law prevails over everything, and Gujarat government, the decision to release all 7 convicts was wrong and they should be confined. And with respect to Bilkis Banu case also, there are various dimensions in the society, but the name is something which is making us to judge about the case, but it is not about the events which happened. See, Bilkis Banu case is a Muslim versus Hindu case which is being talked about, rather than a victim and the culprits which is not being talked about. So ನಮಗೆ ಸಮಾಜಕ್ಕೆ ಹೆಂಗೆ ಬೇಕೋ ಹಂಗೆ ಬಣ್ಣ ಕೊಟ್ಕೊಂತ ಹೋಗ್ತಿದ್ದೀವಿ. And if there is going to be a day where common man or people who are going to give different colors, religion, caste, and this number is going to outnumber the people who are really working for the society, then automatically the basic structure or this country will collapse. ಅವತ್ತು ನಮಗೂ ಅಫ್ಘಾನಿಸ್ತಾನಿಗೂ ಯಾವುದೇ ಡಿಫರೆನ್ಸ್ ಇರಲ್ಲ. So the people or the number of youths or number of citizens of this country should be outnumbered with the people who are coloring this country with various religious colors or caste colors or economical division colors. So if that has to happen, then you have to be at least daring enough to come forward. ಇಲ್ಲ ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ ಅವರೇ ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ಆಗ್ತಾರೆ, and this country will be ruled by those people only. So do well, study well, make yourself a better person by learning things. Don't read. This exam is not to read, because reading can be done by at your home also. You take few books, you read, but this exam is not about reading. It is about developing your personality for being a better civil servant if you become someday, and you will become if you have that attitude and again consistency. Chalo, all the best. I think online students have also got this thing. However, there are any questions with respect to online, I will talk to them separately in Zoom somewhere in the evening or like that. Here it will not be possible. We'll do that. Thank you. All the best. Come, sir. Slowly, sorry. Perfect, sir. Tell them what we missed.